Guys, it's Kara from iStampin.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really simple, sweet Valentine's Day card. I wanted to do something really kind of out of the box, not very Valentine's themed, like when you think of hearts and flowers and, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. So, I just went through the annual catalog and I wanted to use this designer series paper. First of all, I just absolutely loved the stripes. This is from the How Sweet It Is paper collection, which you can find in the Occasions catalog. And when I first saw this collection and I saw those stripes, I was just like, I knew I wanted to use this in some capacity. And I thought that doing an inlaid die cut card would be the perfect way to use the designer series paper and to have that pattern show in the background. So I was going through our annual catalog and I wanted something, you know, fairly detailed so that the colors would pop through. And the Up and Away Thinlits was the Thinlit that I decided on. And I thought, you know what, that can be, you know, hot air balloons can be romantic and things like that. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to go with it. And this can be a nice, unique, not your typical Valentine's Day card. So I really hope that y'all like the project as well. So let me show you the supplies that you'll need to make this card. I am using a Valentine's Day set out of our Occasions catalog. It's called Meant to Be. That's where I got the I Love Our Life Together sentiment. So you'll want to pull that out. This is the Up and Away Thinlits. Ignore that label. That's just from an old set. So this you can find in our annual catalog. We are going to be doing some embossing, so you'll want your Versamark pad along with your embossing buddy. And I'm using white embossing powder. I've been doing quite a bit of embossing the last few projects, so that's kind of fun. Let's see, for the paper, I am using thick Whisper White cardstock. I've just cut this in half, so this measures 4 4¼ by 11, and I'm going to score this at 5½ in just a second. Again, like I said, this is the How Sweet It Is designer series paper. You can see the fun gummy bears little images on the other side. This paper is just darling. This whole collection's darling, but I just love these colors. So I cut this to 3 3/4 by 5. And then for the Whisper White cardstock, I'm going to be using our rectangle stitched framelits. I measured, it's 3 inches by like 4 3/8. It's the, if you look at it, it's the third largest one. So, but I'm going to be die cutting that out along with the balloon Thinlit to give it that stitched look, and then the balloon will it will be an inlay. So I think I cut this like about 3½ by 5, so that should be plenty big. And then I've just got a scrap piece of basic black cardstock. And then for the adhesive, I'm going to be using a combination of dimensionals and then our foam strip adhesive. This is going to work really well. So why don't we go ahead and get started. This card, it's a fun card to put together. I did pop up the balloon as well as this part, so that's probably the part that takes the longest. Behind the balloon, it is kind of tedious, but you know what, it's such a cute card that I didn't mind taking the time to do that. So let's go ahead and score our card base first. And you also will need your Big Shot, and I'm going to show some of the things that I think you're going to want to use to make it a lot easier on you. All right, so we've got the card in landscape, and we're going to go ahead and score this at, whoops, at 5½. We'll make that be the back side. So just be careful when you score that your stylus doesn't go crazy on you. Okay, and then I'm just using a bone folder to fold that and burnish it. And so that is just going to go on the card front like that. So you will also need snail. And the kitties are in here, so you may hear their jingle bells around their collars. So I'll try to make it so it's not as distracting as it can be. All right, so that's on there like that. Okay, so go ahead and get your Big Shot. And so here is the rectangle stitched framelit. And what I'm going to do, because I don't see why I can't die cut these at the same time. So what I'm going to use is the Big Shot platform. And you're also going to need the thin die adapter. I'm also using the precision base plate. This is going to make getting all those little bits and pieces from the hot air balloon out super, super simple. Now, the only thing about this is this isn't magnetic. They're not going to be, they're not going to be set. They'll be able to move around. So I'm just going to have to be really careful when I run this through the Big Shot that one of these isn't cattywampus. I mean, I could use washi tape, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just making sure that that looks even. Okay. And then now I'm just going to use, so you only need to use one acrylic plate. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through a couple of times. Okay, and you should see that all of this came out super easy. So we need our frame. If you want to save this, you can. But we don't need that, so I'm just going to pop this out. And so that's what it looks like there. And then let's go ahead and take out our balloon. And I'm just going to take my paper piercer and just get all those bits out. Okay, so once we've gotten all those little bits and pieces out, that's what it looks like. And we're just going to be fitting it back in, but we're going to be popping this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the card base first. And I am going to be using our foam strips for this. I think it's going to be a lot easier. And then putting dimensionals all the way around this. So I've just using my scissors to trim it. And you just want to make sure that you're getting it close to the edges and that it's not shown on the other side. And I like these because you can, manipulate them into the shape that you need them to be. And since I have this, I'll just go ahead and use this right here and right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take off the backing strip. Okay. And this sucker is well supported. Okay, so let's just make sure that we get this on right the first time. So that looks nice and straight. Ah, perfect. So you can see there is no sagging whatsoever. That piece is on very well. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to use a combination of like our mini dimensionals, or actually, to be quite honest, the best thing to use is the outside part of your dimensionals because you can cut thin strips. Now, like I said, I know this sounds tedious, but this card is super cute, so I think it's worth it. So because of my nails, I am cutting the little pieces like into thin strips. I'm using my paper piercer just to get up underneath. And then I'm just going to put dimension wherever I can, where it doesn't show. Okay, so this, I'm gonna just skip this part altogether, and I'll show you the final product before I stick it on. Okay, so once I'm done, I don't know if you can see all those little adhesive bits. So that's, I'm gonna hopefully, maybe I'll put one more right here. like I said, it's a little tedious, but it's so worth it. But you know, the most important thing is that you just outline, you know, you get the basket. Let's see here, this is kind of thick right here. You get around, you know, you do like the outline of the balloon, and then you get some center parts where it will be nice and supported. So I think I can put one right there. And then if you see any of the adhesive showing, you can actually just take your scissors and kind of just like cut it at a bevel. So, okay, so now I'm just going to take my paper piercer and just gently, or with my nails, and just gently remove all the backing strips. Okay, so we have got all the bits off. All right, so now we're just going to gently lay this into the cutout. And there we go. Your adhesive may be a little lower or a little bit higher, so you just got to pop that in. So then that's what it looks like. I will say with the dimensions, the dimensionals, it's a little bit lower than the it's not as high as the strips, but that's okay. You can just take your little piercer and just kind of pop it up like what I'm doing here. So, or you can just lay it flat in there and it can just be a little bit lower. It doesn't look bad at all. Okay. All right, so we've got that part done. I think that looks really, really nice. I think that's so pretty. So let's go ahead and put in our sentiment. Let's do our stamping of our sentiment. So, like I said, I'm using the Meant to Be stamp set. You can find this in our Occasions catalog. I'm going to use I Love Our Life Together. And since I'm embossing, I need my embossing buddy. So you want to use this especially when you're using black cardstock. I'm also using Versamark pad. So just ink that up well. I'm just going to go right here in the center of the black cardstock. I will be trimming this down. And then I've got my white embossing powder right here. Just sprinkle that on. I do like to use a dry paintbrush and just brush off the excess powder, especially on black, because it just shows up so much easier than most colors. Okay, so I've got my heat tool, so let's go ahead and emboss this. Okay, and you know it is done when you see that powder melt into a nice glossy finish. So I'm just going to pull out my little mini tabletop trimmer and trim this down. And I'm going to try to trim it the same on the top and the bottom. If it's not perfect, that's quite all right. So that's what it looks like when you're done. And then let's bring in our card again. And then here I'm going to pop up on dimensionals again. So I think we should be able to get 2 on here. And then that is just going to go on top of the balloon. And our unique, non-traditional Valentine's Day card will be all done. So I'm just going to put it, let's see, right about there. And what do you think? Isn't that just absolutely just precious? I love the dimension. I love the inlay, and I love that you can see the colors from behind the die cut. I just think it's so pretty. You know, hot air balloons are so gorgeous with their fabrics and everything like that. So I really hoped you liked today's project. It was a lot of fun. Again, that was using the Meant to Be stamp set along with our brand new rectangle stitched framelits. I don't know if I mentioned this, but these are in our Occasions catalog too. So excited we finally have those. And then of course the gorgeous designer series paper from the How Sweet It Is collection out of our Occasions catalog. All right, guys, well, if you have any questions, just comment below. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked today's video. Subscribe to my weekly newsletter. I've got, well, it went out yesterday. It goes out every Monday. So the exclusive project, it was a lot of fun. I hope you liked it if you got the email. If not, just head on over to istampin.com, sign up at the very top, and then also we just have a couple of days left of January, so you're still able to use the January host code, and when you use the January host code, you will receive the Stampin' Anonymous tutorials for free, so you don't want to miss out on these. And when you use the host code, just make sure that if your order is $150 or more, not to use it. You'll still earn the free gift next month. And I think that's it. So I'm so happy you joined me. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.